Hello there, mate, and welcome to the first episode of Queer Stance, a podcast based on LGBT community. Throughout this podcast, we discuss in detail about trending topics surrounding the community. We talk about important news, interesting and inspiring stories, and we also talk to few people who have mind-boggling experiences. My name is Neville Nazareth, and I will be your host for this entire series. Please don't forget to subscribe to this podcast so that you can be notified every time we update a new episode. So, without further ado, let's just dive into our topic. So, I am sure that you've already seen the title of this podcast, and it says Being Gay in This Heteronormative Society. So, in this episode, we're going to discuss about what does it means to be gay, what are the challenges thrown to these gay individuals from our society. We're going to discuss a story of Amir, and at the end, I'm going to give you a hint on what topic we're speaking next. So don't forget to listen till the end, and if you like this podcast, don't forget to share it with your friends. So let's dive into the topic. So, being gay can be easily explained as being a man or a woman who is sexually or romantically attracted to the same gender. Now, what happens is that our society believes that any and everybody who's born in this universe is born a heterosexual, and factors such as the way they are brought up or factors such as their surrounding and lifestyle makes them homosexual. I'm sure that you'll relate with me too while I say that these people are delusional. They don't usually think what they say, and they just believe to other rumors and then they just carry it forward to other people. Because being homosexual is as valid as being heterosexual. You're born with it. You do not develop homosexual feelings unless you have it in your genes already. Because you cannot force a heterosexual man to do a homosexual act. Just like that, you cannot force a homosexual man to do a heterosexual act. So, coming back to the topic, what happens is that a society has certain gender norms. According to them, guys are supposed to perform specific tasks and girls are supposed to do the same. If you are a guy, you're expected to be a little strong, you're expected to have a strong opinion on things, wherein if you're a girl, you're expected to be a little delicate in front of the society. Because if you do anything opposite of that, it's considered not being feminine enough or not being masculine enough. So what happens is that when you are in homosexual guy or a girl, you have these small characteristics within you which you cannot control to an extent. The way you talk, the way you walk are some of the things which you cannot have a control over. Now, while you talk, your hands automatically start moving. You are not telling your brain to do it, and if you try to repress those feelings, it makes you uncomfortable. So you try not to do that, and you try to see for alternatives to keep yourself away from the situation. So I remember my friends telling me when they were kids, what they used to do majority of the time is that they used to not even talk to people just because of being scared that people can use them as a target to make fun of. People usually used to correct them on their gestures, on the way they talked, on the way they walked, behaved, the clothes they liked. So these are few things which used to impact them on a longer scale. And it all used to happen because when we were born, our family used to think that we are all heterosexuals, and even when we do all small things to indicate that we are not, they used to completely ignore it, and then they used to try to look out for options to cure it. So that's one thing. So now, being a homosexual, there are a lot of challenges thrown towards from the society. Like, if you try to express yourself the way you want, people always has their eyes open. They try to correct you, they try to shame you. There have been so many people who have been tortured because of just wearing a specific type of cloth or talking to a person in a specific way. So these are few of the things which have been happening and which is still happening in our society. In spite of people saying that they've become liberal now, they are become very independent, they're open to LGBT community. Every Pride Month, every brand goes ahead and pulls out a rainbow flag. They change their logo and add a rainbow there. But in reality, once the charades get over, they come back to their real self of being homophobic. So this is one thing which upsets us a lot. So today we have a story for y'all. This is also an inspiring story of my friend who is Amir. So Amir is obviously a pseudonym because we cannot use his real name here, because we're trying to save people's identity, and we want to create an atmosphere like people can share their stories to us and they don't have to worry that there'll be repercussions against it. So today's story is very simple. He was in his teenage years and he was just trying to live a normal life. But being gay, it's impossible. Like, people who are gay would know. And people are trying to know. I'm happy that you're here. You're being an ally to the community. And you're trying to learn new things about the community. So just like any other kid, Amir was also an ideal kid in his family. His relatives used to give other kids example about his obedience, about his talent, and everything was going amazingly well. He was pampered by his family members. He always got whatever he wanted because he always proved that he deserved to have it. No bad habits at all. And there was a small secret which he had within himself, is that he used to like dancing. He used to like dressing up like a girl, and he used to feel as if he was a girl from inside. But then he never got to execute it in front of his parents or family members because his family was a little conservative and strict. They usually used to correct him every time he used to even try to be a little feminine. So what he used to do is that, to feel that independence, he used to close his doors and windows, and when he was alone he used to dance, dressing up. He used to have a blast of a time. So he had this routine wherein whenever his dad used to be going to work every day, his mom used to go to the market, so he used to lock the doors, windows, and he used to do what he wanted to do the whole time they were not home. So one fine day what happened is that he forgot to close the window, and that's where the problem starts. So now, without caring much about the window, he was just doing his basic routine. He looked out for a good dress to wear from his sister's closet. He wore that dress, he turned his TV on, and he started dancing like a diva. And suddenly he realized that somebody was knocking the door. He did not know what to do. So he rushed to the closet, he changed his clothes quickly, he turned off the television, and he attended the door. So when he attended the door, it was one of his neighbors. He used to stay just 2 houses past his. He entered the house and he started hitting him vigorously. He's slapping him, he's kicking him, and Amir does not know what's happening. Why is he even doing it in the first place? So while this was happening, suddenly Amir's mother arrives. So the mother obviously will ask a neighbor, why is he hitting his kid? So the neighbor go ahead and he tells the complete scenario to the mother. And that is that your son was dressed up like a girl and he was dancing. What behavior is this? If you don't stop this today, it's going to impact him tomorrow. Do you want your son to be this homosexual guy? This chakka, that was the exact word which they used. So the mother was also very scared about what she had just heard, and she did not stop that neighbor. Instead, she went ahead and she slapped Amir and told her if Amir ever does it again, she's going to complain it to his father. And then his father was strict, so he was scared and he decided not to do it again. So now what happened here is that in Amir's story, that was the day when Amir realized that he can never be his real self, because whenever he would try to do that, his family or his society will repress him, will not allow him, and that created an Amir which was quite opposite from what he was before. He started becoming a lot less involved with activities in school. He lost his grades. He was always seen in depression because he stopped living, to be very honest. He stopped living a life which he was supposed to. He always used to be upset, kept crying. So that's how his whole childhood got ruined. Now we're going to discuss more about Amir in our further episodes. So we have an interesting episode about what happens to Amir next, and that is some revolutionary thing which is going to make you feel sad for him, hopefully, and it's related to a crime. So he was involved in a crime, but then he never spoke about it to anyone until now. So he's given me permission to discuss the story, but like always, he will not tell you what his identity is, who it is, but then we'll tell you the story about him. So we hope you do subscribe to this podcast so that you can listen to the next episode, which is going to be about what Amir went through and what was the criminal activity he was involved in. So thank you so much, guys, for being so kind and waiting till the end to listen to this episode. I really hope that you like this episode, and if you have some suggestions for us, we are more than happy to welcome them. You can just send it to us on www.closetitstance.com. You can go to the contact us page and you can write to us, and we'll be more than happy to answer all your queries. We're also accepting interviews, so if you wish to interview and be a part of this podcast, you can also message us there, and we'll make sure we set up a time to do something great. Thank you guys, and have a wonderful day today. Bye bye.